So you thought I was done milking the anime men situation? Absolutely not. I have said a couple of times, particularly on Monta Sensei's stream, that I would be absolutely milking this as far as content goes. And I actually kind of find a lot of different opinions very interesting in this conversation, because it isn't just about like talking about the anime men, but it's also talking about the wider topic of like anime tourists and toxicity and the anime man, and just kind of content creation as well, because content creation is a topic that I think a lot of people have opinions on that don't know what they're talking about. And I'm mostly talking about like viewers, because a lot of viewers I see in my comment section will always have an opinion on content creation and being like, oh yeah, this is the best way to grow. And it's like, there's a lot more moving cogwheels when it comes to content creation, and things aren't as straightforward and simple. But it also depends on what type of content you want to make, but also how far you're willing to sort of almost throw integrity, what's the word I'm going to use here without butchering my English, my dyslexic ass, genuineness. Let's just use that word. I know someone's going to say the right word in the comment section, but like authenticness, genuineness, like being authentic as far as your opinion, how you go about articulating yourself, that kind of stuff. And when it comes to things like the anime man, the biggest criticism on them is their lack of authenticness and their actual, like, they're posers, they're fakes. That's how people perceive it. So it's one of those where it's like, if you want to succeed, sometimes you actually have to throw that out. And to be honest, a lot of content creators, not all, but a lot of content creators aren't authentic and aren't genuine about their real pattern. And trust me, as someone that's seen behind the curtains, there's a lot of content creators that you'd be generally surprised really don't actually like anime, but just cover it because it's popular. Or they make content on it because their partner enjoyed it, but they don't actually like it, and they just kind of keep going with it even though they've broken up with their partner. So yeah, this video I actually want to go over It'sAGundam. I actually watch his videos often, and I thought, you know what, I'll do a reaction. It's 17 minutes long, so this might be a juicy video, but it's, yeah, the anime tourist problem explained in my dyslexic ass. We're starting, so hopefully the volume works.
I was one of them. No, I used to hate anime my whole entire life until 2020. The first actual anime episode I ever watched was.
By the way, the fact that he says 2020, it's like you really need to be self-aware at the fact that that is going to absolutely look bad in front of most people. Like you had to be self-aware that 2020 is like the biggest. It's not the only time, by the way, tourists have entered into the anime community, because I've seen Joey's video on that and I have an interesting take on it. But it's one of those where it's like, yeah, it's not the only time, but 2020 has been a big wave. Since 2020, that's when the biggest wave has happened so far. Like, if we go back, there are other waves, but I feel like 2020 has been the biggest when it comes to insurgent into the anime community.
The first episode of
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here!
2020 was a horrible year that is leading into a garbage decade for many of us. But the worst thing about 2020, besides OnlyFans, was the...
It's one of the reasons why I have people like, oh, you should go on Reddit. And it's like, no. Reason why is because most subreddits are just turned into like, especially anime ones, have just turned into like OnlyFans chicks posting their cosplays and then being like linked back to their OnlyFans, and that's all they post. They just spam the same cosplays every like 12 months. And someone linked me an article or a large post talking about something from High School DxD, and I just went through the subreddit and I was like, oh, OnlyFans, and I complained about it, and then some moderator whined in a Discord server about it, like, oh, I was just on there, and there was none, and I'm like, literally pulled it up, and I'm like, 5 within the first scroll, and I'm like, I swear to God, the moderators on DxD do not even pay attention to their own subreddit, so I'm like, that's one of the other reasons why I stopped using Reddit, or just continue to stop using it. I stopped using it like ages ago, but that's a tangent about OnlyFans.
Hoodweeb. This group of people, like all tourists, have...
That word is very controversial. Especially when it comes to chibi reviews drama. That word is very controversial. And to be honest, I see the word very differently, but that's just because I live in Australia, and like to me that word just kind of feels very different.
have little to no respect for what came before they took an interest into the hobby, and they demand that it conforms to their stringent worldviews immediately.
If you told a ninja I watched anime back in 2010, he probably thought you meant shit like this. Insane PR growth.
That is a big issue, is that a lot of the newer fans look at stuff that's currently out or back then, and they just look at like stuff like that and they go, oh, that's disgusting, and it's just like, but all they care about is like showman stuff. It's just pure showman stuff. But you know what's funny? Dan Dan has a lot of like crazy fun scenes. I've got a video planned once season 2's ended, because I absolutely think it is an absolute phenomenally fun show. So I plan to do a video on the analysis channel. But yeah, Dan Dan is one of those where it's like, that's another wave of like, every new showman like these comes out, you get a new wave of sort of tourists coming in. Nothing on the animes, but showmans, yeah.
Netflix says 50% of their global users now watch anime. I meant shit like this, and I don't care. Go back to your ghettos.
Bitch, go back to Party City where you belong.
And I know that Twitter account that's based.
Netflix and Western media is so trash, it's no wonder people are watching anime. There is nothing.
That's another thing too. Like, Western, like, cartoons or that animations and stuff, and even just media in general in the West, is just so boring. It's soulless, it's constant political posturing, and I talked about that in like a past video about political posturing in media and why we don't want it in anime and why we don't want content creators putting it in there. And I called out a bunch of like grifting tourists, or I would say more grifting content creators and Twitter accounts, and they started like spazzing out. They're like, you do political content, and it's like, again, there's a difference between calling out censorship and that kind of stuff, and then like shoving like why free rent is political, and it's just like there's a very big difference between that and that. But they were trying to like link them up as one, like, oh, they're no different. It's like, no, there is a big difference between criticism of, say, like censorship going on, or like sub translations or sub translations and dub translation forcing in political political stuff. You look at Dragon Maid, that kind of stuff. It's like, we don't need politics shoved in our animes where it shouldn't exist, and it's the same with gaming as well. But then when you criticize that, and then you say, hey, maybe we shouldn't shove, you know, politics into free rent, and they go, oh, well, you'd do politics as well. It's like, there's a very big difference in context, but they try to link both up together as one because they know they don't have a genuine argument to kind of stand on.
Else on. And if we break it down on another level,
Netflix says that 50% of all of the worldwide users now watch anime.
Obviously.
150 million households. Anime viewership has tripled in 5 years.
2020.
80 to 90% watch dub.
you know why they watch anime dub?
Because motherfuckers can't read.
That is true, by the way. I was just reading this an article about how a lot of Americans can't read and do basic math. It's like really bad right now. Like, I said this in Montesensei's video, that the average IQ went down by 20 points over the last couple of years, pretty much since COVID. And I wouldn't say it's just because of COVID. I would say a component of it is bad education systems in many countries. Even Australia, our education system is completely cooked. Teachers are just more important about going over feelings rather than teaching things. And teachers just don't have any passion. A lot don't, but some do. Then you've got social media. You've got different types. Like, you've got social media, but then you've got like the fact that social media is going down like short form content when it comes to YouTube, TikTok, that kind of stuff. So long form content is becoming less desirable and it's more short form content. And then you've got the whole like COVID thing. You add all that together, you mix it all out, and it's a recipe for a good 20 IQ drop statistics right there. And that's apparently 100 years worth of human like development gone down the drain in a matter of a couple of years. Yeah, I wonder why things have gotten really bad.
Approximately 40% of students in the US cannot read at a basic level.
Nor can they do math.
Go at 33 divided.
I didn't even read. I was just like stopped it. I did this with the last reaction video where I stop it, say something, and literally they repeat what I say. There you go.
Divided by 3 is?
No. I don't know.
Give me a guess, a number, around what?
33 divided by 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. 5? Nah. I don't know.
Yes.
Number comes
The thing is, they do those videos all the time, and they're just like, you just know people are absolutely cooked.
It's between 2 and 4 Beetlejuice.
25.
With some reports indicating this number is even higher. This includes a significant proportion of low-income 4th graders, where almost 70% struggle with basic reading skills.
Try adults too, my guy.
We could talk about the issue localization has caused for anime fans. In America, dealing with progressives drunk on power.
My colleagues around the world have told me about the many examples of censorship in the name of localization. I'm often surprised by them, and I think Japanese people have been slow to acknowledge this issue. However, in recent years, it has become a very important topic for Japan, which aims to be a nation built on content culture. Japanese people also read the messages in the reply section. Please continue to tell us about it. Netflix.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think people in Japan, especially like content creators in the sense of manga, light novel, animation, all that kind of stuff, are starting to realize the kind of vandalism that is going on in their properties and in their work, and it's starting to irritate. And it's still going on. Like, there's a bunch of new game remakes coming out, and every new remake done by like I was gonna say Sony or Square Enix or something is always just vandalized, and they change outfits because, oh, it needs to be more age appropriate or more inclusive, and voice actors end up getting replaced because, oh no, they don't fit certain political leanings, or they have certain skin colors. And it's just, there's so much like politicizing when it goes into our media now. When you criticize it and you call it all out, then you have the same grifters, like I said, with the tweets and stuff, calling you out saying, oh, but you just put it's just like, there's a very difference in context. And this is how they do it. They kind of try and twist words and logic and try and create these weird, almost straw man-y arguments to try and like disassemble it. And it is getting, this is why most of us have started calling it out. And I don't really like getting into the political space, but I felt pressured into it because of the fact that everything that I love and enjoy is slowly getting eroded away. I mean, Fire Emblem is something that I absolutely love, and the new Fire Emblem game just got announced, and I can guarantee you, depending on who does the translation for Fire Emblem, is they're going to butcher it as well. They did it with Engage, they did it with Free Houses, they did it with Fates, they did it with Awakening, they do it again and again and again and again. There is like numerous videos that go in full detail of the amount of localization that gets, they go into these properties and they vandalize and they twist everything around. And Treehouse, which is one of the people that do the localization for Fire Emblem, absolutely butcher things. And it's very clear that they do it deliberately. And they did it with the new Fire Emblem game, Engage. And you imagine anime is the exact same issue as well. And it's just frustrating because when you criticize it, oh, it's suddenly, oh, why do you care? It's like when you criticize those basic small things, they go, oh, you're just gooning, you just like corn, blah, blah, blah. And they come up with the shittiest arguments to justify vandalism of other people's intellectual property.
English localization of One Piece anime changes the term new kama into new trans.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Go to hell!
I won't dip too deep into this because it's for a later video I'm working on. But imagine a future where anime is as soulless as the MCU.
This is fine.
And it could happen if West...
Yeah, it will happen if the West gets their hands on anime.
Western production companies get their hands too far into the anime scene.
We as a society should be allowed to stone people for having interest in owning a statue of a teenage girl in nothing but her...
Wait, why does that account look familiar? I think that's
underwear, because no way in hell was this made without the intention of marketing towards horny weird.
Oh, that's why. The icon rings a bell. I remember who that is.
This is my favorite hate response from yesterday. I checked his profile, and he's a furry who posts furry porn. If stoning horny weirdos becomes legal, this dog is the first to be getting hit.
He ain't lying.
You own this, you need...
Oh yeah, I remember this one as well. I talked about this particular video shorts, and yeah, the way they project is just insanity at its finest. Like they really try to like move the goalposts as much as humanly possible to try and like make you seem like this evil, diabolical person, and oh, we should do all these horrible things to you because I'm gonna make weird issues out of fictional characters. It's like the fact that you think of that as your default go-to is questionable.
Need to be locked up. you ever put something like this in your cart, you need to be locked up. If you see this and don't see a problem with it, you should probably seek some help. Now, I understand this has always been a thing in the anime community, but at some point we have to draw a line.
And this is why I get annoyed at a lot of these new and old content creators that are in the anime community, and a lot of them are exactly like this, constantly calling for censorship. I just saw a video going over something, and it was going over a bunch of different content creators, and I saw a bunch of them, and I'm like, oh yeah, those are like anime content creators that constantly scream for censorship, but then turn around and say that, oh yeah, I don't support censorship, but when it affects them, but then turn around and scream for censorship.
Somewhere. Y'all try to say I was the problem when I said,
hey, that's a banger figure.
The people who buy the half-naked free run.
I would love that figure if I could afford it. I'm brokey.
Why don't you get into a hobby and then start trying to chastise it? Take your ass home.
And that's the thing. They force themselves into these hobbies and then try and forcefully change everything. It's like, okay, why are you in this hobby if you don't like it? That's the thing that's so irritating. So many anitubers do this. They go, oh, I love anime. I love anime. Anime is so great. By the way, I hate everything about anime. Every anime has this problematic issue. Then why are you watching it? Other than to grift.
Who invited you?
Look out, the hoodweeb says you need to do hard time for an anime figure. But
I still find that word funny.
Uncle Junebug got a GoFundMe for legal funds.
Cold take, but it's so weird how new anime fans obsess so much over fictional characters' ages. I remember back in the day, everyone loved Asuka.
By the way, when people say loved, or love, or waifu, they don't mean like literally they want to marry and do... I mean, some people will jokingly say that, and some people will probably be a bit serious. But a lot of it's just like a deep love and appreciation towards the character archetype, the backstory, like all of the things that make the character what it is. People don't really care so much about the character. It was something that I saw Monta Sensei talking about in his video where he talks about like romance animes. It's like, it's not the age that you look at, it's the story and the character development and like the relationships that they build. Like if it's in a school setting, it's just like, for me, I just like pretend I'm a, you know, school kid again, just enjoying the relishment of being like young and in love. But it's not like you're really looking at the age as like a thing. It's more about the journey itself. Like, again, it's fiction, but also the age isn't really as important. It's more about like the story itself. Because, again, it is fiction.
Zucco accept, and no one cared about their canon.
I probably did a butch job of explaining his way of explaining it because he did a better job.
Ages because they're not real. Their design is just hot. Lore is irrelevant.
Like, that's just a problem. People don't have lives anymore. They're constantly online and they realize being a victim of virtue signaling is the best way to get noticed.
Oh, look how bad this is. Look, he's bad. Look, see?
I generally hate so much of the like, there's a lot of good VTubers out there, but my god, do I think the VTuber community is so goddamn toxic. It is just so many, like, especially on the female component, it's like different just chicks trying to rip each other down and like claw each other's hair up and like, no, you can't be big, I'm going to leech subs by making drama. And it's just like constantly like trying to rip each other down. It's just not to say it doesn't happen in the male content creator space, but it's like, oh my god, the VTuber community is like so catclawry. It is insane how much they get their claws out on each other and like they pretend they're all friends and all collab and do stuff, and the next minute they've all got like Google Docs on each other waiting to drop. They're like, oh yes, I can't wait to drop a Google Doc. Such a toxic community. But the internet as a whole has become like that.
He's terrible. I'm putting him out. He's a monster. Look, I'm a hero. Look.
Anyway, remember when Twitter discovered Berserk over and over?
I still remember when someone said Berserk is allowed to have all the gruesomeness in it and all of like the crazy like scenes in it, but Mushoku Tensei wasn't allowed to because it was problematic. And it was like some manga anituber, and I was like, it was funny because I was like cooking their absolute tush off, and then one of their fans was like, I like you both, I wish you weren't arguing. It's like, well, he's the one saying Berserk is allowed to have all these things in the show, but Mushoku Tensei isn't. And it's like, isn't that just hypocritical? Especially being Berserk has some similar things in it that could be seen as problematic than what Mushoku Tensei does. It's like, again, it's this like disingenuous posing going on.
And over again, in which Kentaro Miura would burn in hell. It tweaked my mind to levels that we're not getting into. I was so burnt out I didn't even do a second video on it. You see, these people who have done nothing with their lives that will be remembered even by family members feel that they are the moral authority of art and storytelling. Oh my god. I'm not gonna say the things I want to say about these absolute genetic deficient.
He's not funny at all.
We are in an unfortunate era of anti-writer, where writing and exploring darker themes and subplots automatically makes a series well written, even if it's purely fetishistic and borderline.
This is the problem. You're not allowed to have any dark undertones without them trying to claim it's just fetishes and stuff. I'm trying to remember. That's right, Monster Museum. I was remembering the CB whatever article, and they're just like, Monster Museum is just like fetish bait, and I'm just like, it's just like anything that you try to do, like any darker tone or any type of flavor that you try to add that's maybe a little bit, you know, fun for the eyes and fan service, like instantly it's just like demonized and oh, it's problematic. And especially when it comes to like darker tones. And that's why I always use Mushoku Tensei as a great example, because Mushoku Tensei kind of follows that human sort of lifestyle. It's like very core to like showing how flawed humans are in the real world. And that's the thing. Like I pointed out, like Rudy and Paul and all those, they're flawed in their nature, and a lot of people are like that. And then you always see some like dumbass in the comments going, oh well, I've never done those kinds of mistakes, my only mistake is maybe like I broke a vase or something. And it's like, well, come on, be real here. You've probably done something pretty stupid in your life. Like everyone's done something stupid to some degree in different variations, but it's just like, it is so, I hope that didn't go through and people heard that, but that was the notification from Microsoft saying that there's rain coming in an hour, which is funny because it's raining right now. But it's one of those where, back to the topic, it's like one of those where people like, Mushoku Tensei is great for illustrating the humanity, like the flaws in humans, but then people are like, oh no, that's too problematic because it doesn't exist really. And it's just like, it's so much projecting, it's so much like fake posturing, like people act like they're so perfect and they've never made any flaws. And then you only need to look at the VTuber community, which I just spoke about, and you look at like one person makes a mistake and everyone's ready to backstab them, like, oh, you played the wizard game? And it's like, it really shows just how flawed people can be. But yet apparently a lot of these same people will claim that these shows shouldn't exist because it's not realistic. It's like,
offensive due to the fact that these themes are handled with zero care or nuance.
What do you know? What have you written? Nobody's gonna remember you in 20, 30 years. Kentaro Miura? Pff, eternal. You wanna know what is anti-writer for me? Trans people making everything trans. How do you like them apples, huh?
The one I hate the most is shippers in the culture community. Everything has to be like some like, oh yeah, they're not a straight couple, they have to be like girl on girl, and if you disagree you're a horrible person. And it's like the writers, and like even in anime does this as well, like My Hero Academia, and the writer will come out and say, yes, this character and this character are in love with each other. They're like, no, that's not real, this is the real. And it's just like shipping wars. It reminds me of that kind of stuff, like shippers, and oh, it's just so frustrating, like headcanons. I don't mind headcanons and like fanfics, but it's like more annoying when they push them as canon and like try and defy what the writer says.
And they handle it with zero care or nuance.
Stop them! I saw people sitting there on Twitter trying to say Silk Song was transcoded. I don't know how in God's name you get it from little bugs.
It doesn't make any sense.
That happens in a lot of animes nowadays as well. It's frustrating.
Awkward. Sense.
You see, it's just wild to me. The generation that thinks...
I've actually had it done on me once before when I was at a convention and I did Deku in a maid outfit, and people were like, oh, you know that, and it's like, no, I'm male and I'm fine with it.
Sexuality is cringe and everything is sus. Becoming interested in...
Fire Force was so much drama over some of those fan service things where the manga artist or writer was just like, yeah, let's just keep doing it just to annoy him.
In a hobby that admittedly lives on fan service is peak cognitive dissonance.
Some fans of harem anime will...
DxD always catch strays. And it's kind of funny because some of the left-leaning grifters will say High School DxD is great, and then like a year later go, yeah, it's problematic. And it's like, make up your mind.
Defend shows like High School DxD and
I covered this article as well in my recent video. So, yeah.
To love Rue, but nobody should be watching them.
I didn't even know they existed. But now that you say it's bad, I'm gonna watch it on principle.
So any...
Yes. Do it. Watch High School DxD. It's peak. Absolute peak. Tularu is not too bad either, but though to be honest, Tularu kind of has a sad story, not in the actual story itself, but in the writer. Because one of the characters, the main female love interest, well, the one that's in there, is actually kind of written as the wife of the writer itself, and then he ends up getting cheated on, which makes him lose all his passion for Tularu, and it's just like, damn, that's got a sting.
Anime with attractive women.
I need to actually watch more of those. I've watched the isekai of that, but I haven't watched the other versions of it. And Mondo Sensei was talking about it. He absolutely loves it, and I was kind of like debating on it. But there are so many other shows that I want to watch. I was so tempted to be a douchebag and be like, hey, Patreon members, you can vote on like a tier list of 10 and just like sell that as something. But I'm just like, so many animes that I need to catch up on, want to rewatch, want to like watch to keep up with. It's just, that's why I don't believe a lot of anitubers that say, oh yes, I watch every anime that airs every season. Like, no, you don't. You're either watching everything on like 5 times, 3 times speed, or you're just like watching the first episode and then making a video. Because there's no way you can keep up with everything that's airing.
Especially women after one guy, it's gooner bait material, right? Well,
Sugoi! Leave my anime waifus alone! Unleash the grippers, you filthy casuals! I refuse to be censored by Puritans! I'm scratching the living hell out of my leg. Oh, I wish that were me. I'd squeeze her ass like it had the cure to cancer and it was just gonna spray out all over me. Oh, man, you get arthritis going this hard.
That's good. Oh, Madrasa Darling, absolute peak. And it's funny because when that first season came out, the very same people that now claim it's so amazing were the same people that complained that it was problematic. This is why I can't take most anitubers serious anymore, and even specifically reaction channels, because the same people that complain that it's problematic will then claim it's peak when it's allowed to be peak, or they'll claim it's peak and then claim it's problematic when it's claimed as probably, like, they just follow the trends and they follow like what's going on in the anime community.
Tell me how solo leveling is peak animation, you filthy animal. And don't even get me started on race swapping character trends on Twitter. Why? Who knows? It's the lamest shit on the planet that's led to endless hours of infighting among...
I think some people do it just to provoke rage because of the fact that X is like so like impressions heavy now, and it's almost like gamified, getting impressions, and you can get monetization for it, even though I've been demonetized and X won't tell me why I've been demonetized, and I've been demonetized and been waiting for a pending review for 3 months, but you know, X won't ever fix anything because apparently they just don't. But hey, free speech absolutist. I'm still jaded about that.
People who can only speculate what sunshine looks like.
I'm Japanese, so I'll use translation. But why is it that you guys get mad at me for calling thick lips and ropey hair a stereotype? But when you blackwash, you paint with the stereotype. Please don't.
That is a very good point. It is a very good point. I just don't really understand it. I think it's partially just like rage baiting, and they're just doing it to deliberately try and provoke hostility towards like the Japanese culture and actual anime fans, which just shows, by the way, just how like racist these individuals are by doing this, because you know they're trying to do it to be disrespectful to the Japanese people and its culture. It's just, like I said, it's just deliberate vandalism to provoke a specific group of like a race of people, while they claim that they're victims of racism all the time.
Tarnished Japanese art. There are still many races who say that changing the race of the Japanese character is not discrimination. And as you can see from the quote, they casually say it's great art because it's not Japanese. If you point this out, you can call the race...
And that's another thing too, a lot of these artists will hijack other people's art, paint all over it, and then go, look, I made it good. I removed the Japanism, and it's just like, really?
Their IQ is so low, they can't even understand.
It's like... It's always like left-leaning grifters too that are like so hostile towards anime but will claim that they love anime. It doesn't mean that the right doesn't do their whole censorship pull rubbish when it comes to like claiming everything's corn when it's not. Like, you show a little bit of nip and they're like, oh my god, this is corn, I don't feel good in my pants. But it's just...
And what discrimination is. Seki Meikyu D Harem, volumes.
I was actually rewatching that. I actually need to finish rewatching that.
7. Alter your shit, bitch. Now the sex slave is black. Good work. Wait, what?
I remember that now.
Besides the puritanical brainlets on the internet with more issues than a Vogue magazine.
Oh, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's clinical depression.
Hollywood has taken interest in Japanese animation, leading to our favorite form of media slowly being ESG'd into mediocrity. Not to mention that the Western adaptations of beloved animes in popular shows often lead to race swapping of characters into oblivion, and also...
I don't even know if anyone actually watched that. I have not watched it. Apparently it's got a season 2. But I think Netflix just dumps money into dumb projects, because there's actually a video that I've wanted to do for so long about what I call the dry spell of content, and Netflix just trying to make any slop because they've run out of things to put on their streaming platforms. And because there's too many streaming platforms, they're all trying to compete for content and the best content, but when they don't have enough content to produce, it's like, say for example, each streaming platform wants to make 100 shows per year, right? But there's only like 30 good shows to fight over, right? So they've all got to divvy it, and there's like 5 different streaming platforms. Then how are they going to fill in the gaps? Because they need to make content to keep people subscribed. And that's the biggest issue, because if you're just staying subscribed and they're not adding new content, why not just buy the favorite shows that you like and not have to pay the subscription and just own what you want? Well, they don't want that, because they want an endless subscription feed, so they've got to keep pumping out slop to keep you subscribed. And that's where these kinds of live action shows come into place, because they're like, well, we need to make something, do a remake for the 600th time, rechange things that don't need to be changed. I know, let's do a live adaptation of something that doesn't need it. How about just make more seasons? How about continue from where the manga went off on?
On occasion, making some of them trans.
Can you imagine how many lives this is going to be saving?
YouTube channels popular for anime now fall under 2 categories: the hoodweeb or anime puritan authorities. The way Trash Taste acts while opening up some anime figure, you'd have think these dudes were going through Epstein's hard drive with the reactions they had. But then again, these dudes are cool with Hassan Piker and have him on, so why am I...
Oh, with the recent controversy with him going around saying what he's saying, and the fact that he still got invited to that a second time, and then Connor had to lie on stream and then upload the video lying, and people were just like, dude, we can see past the lies. Like, that was what blew my mind. I lost so much respect for all 3 of them. Like, I was losing respect over the years, but it was like, Jesus Christ, like, really, you really had to go down that route. Like, of all things, you should have been self-aware. I feel like Connor was probably the one that pushed it the most. Again, they're like, oh, well, we won't invite him again. You shouldn't have invited him the first time. To be honest, I wouldn't be friends with that kind of person. And I don't like guilt by association, but Jesus Christ, have you seen the things that he said?
Surprise.
And he is one of the worst types of tourists out there. He is the peak of, like, posing. He has openly admitted that he uses mediums to get in there so that he can push propaganda, political propaganda. Like, that is the one thing we should be gatekeeping out. Everyone should be unified. But for some reason, people really want to defend him.
By these fucking reactions, dude.
I can judge.
What the
Gentlemen, that I shout out Eromanga Sensei just for...
And if I remember correctly, Connor was not really happy about this. And Giga kind of looks a little bit uncomfortable. Like, look at the But the thing is he loved these kinds of things. And this is why... This feels like Joey finally actually enjoying these kinds of things again. And this is the thing. I think the podcast was the worst thing for them. I think the podcast has done more harm for their careers than anything else. And I feel like Joey... I have a video actually already recorded talking about his recent video where I actually kind of talk about, like, where I feel like he wants to get back into anime, and it feels like he actually generally enjoys it somewhat, but it also feels like the reason why he wants to get back into it is because his main channel is absolutely, like, it's not doing well compared to, like, his subs to views and the amount of content and the production value in it. It's just like, it's flopping, because you got to look at the views they get compared to the production value being put in. Like, you could get like 100k views but putting like heaps of money and time into it, and it's like, okay, that's not really worth the effort. But it's like, yeah, Joey's channel's really suffering, and I notice he's starting to try and push back into anime, and he actually looks like he's somewhat enjoying it more. But it feels like Connor just is just there, even though he doesn't really like anime. Giggit just kind of looks uncomfortable sometimes, but I generally do think Giggit still enjoys anime. It's just those awkward moments. I'm tensioning.
Everybody, round of applause.
Well done, Joey. Well done. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Joey.
Are we going to prison?
Even though I've...
My God, these dudes have such low testosterone. Talk about men you look at, you know, someone came up on them in a dark alley, they wouldn't even fight. They're just like, here's my cell phone, here's my wallet, here's my jewelry. Don't hurt me, please.
To be honest, Connor's the worst out of the three of them, because I just generally don't really know why he's there when he seems to have the most disdain towards anime, and he's done that on the record multiple times where he's just like absolutely dogpiled on the most trending animes out there just because it's popular to hate. And the anime man Joey would make a shorts video talking about how people only hate popular animes because it's the popular thing to do, and I made a tweet using his exact words to criticize Connor for hating on Spy Family, and then they got angry at me and claimed that I bullied them. And I was just like, my God. And the hostility that they didn't name me, but people clipped it and were like, okay, we can clearly tell who they're talking about. And the hostility in their voice and the way they looked, it was just like, Jesus Christ, you guys. You're demonstrating how much hatred you have towards the anime community in that actual clip alone. And yet you're trying to posture and talk as if you're like genuine advocates. Like, don't... The one thing I hate the most is people that fake stuff like that. I hate posers and fakers because I'm just like, just be transparent about it. It's just like,
I warned you, Susan.
Someone should help that lady.
A fan of Eromanga Sensei, but this is actually a pretty solid
I think you'd have the FBI knocking if you said you were.
Well, I mean, Garn should be used to that by now, right?
See, it's the awkwardness with Garn or Giggit, and Connor's just like, oh, let me just hate on anime again for the 600th time and totally prove that I really don't like anime, but I'm just here because, you know, I need to be here.
I'm okay not seeing the figure, you know?
You sure?
There's like a child's playmat there. What the
Yeah, I'll bring it out. I'll bring it out, don't worry.
is that?
I think it's...
He's gay! You dudes should be hanging out with Darkside Phil.
It's the same guy that, like, said hubba hubba in one scene, and then when there was a remake, he complained about it. It was the exact same scene. It's like, okay, bro.
And this one has no clothes on, apparently. What the hell is she wearing?
This is going nowhere.
You can definitely tell this is from a different era of gaming.
Nope, I'm not watching. It's too estrogen coded. I can't take it. I literally cannot take it. I am not in the mood for gay shit today.
How do you spend more than a decade in the anime sphere and still this much of an insufferable moral?
Dude, the wrong people are famous in the anime community, bro.
I agree. But I don't think it's necessarily... I think some content creators had like good intentions when they went in it. They had a passion, they had a love for things, and then they grew to hate it. And this is something I think I spoke about in Monta Sensei's stream. I spoke about a lot of things. Is that you start content creation and you start it as a hobby. You're like, oh, I really love this. If I make money, it's a bonus. It's just part of a career, you know, and you're making money from your hobby, and it's kind of like a balance. You're doing it, one, because you enjoy it, but also you're making money. And it's like, this is the best of both worlds. This is like heaven. This is like a utopia. You're making money from your passion, but then the job becomes more of a priority, and the profit becomes more of a priority than the passion, and it becomes, the priorities change, where it's all about, well, I need to get sponsorships. Well, I better act in a certain way because I don't want to upset my sponsorships. Oh, I've got collaborations. Well, I don't want to upset those content creators, so I you know, there's a multitude of like collaborations going on, so I better not say anything that would upset them. I mean, imagine the trash taste. Imagine if one of them didn't like each other. You wouldn't know until there's like an actual falling out, because they can't really show any like disdain or hostility. It's one of those where it's like, okay, so now I have to be nice to people because, oh, I need to collab, and oh wait, politics is now a heavy component in anime community. Oh, better have the right opinion or else I'm locked out of an entire demographic. Like, for example, me, I can guarantee you, probably any, and if not most left-leaning content creators, I'll never be allowed to collaborate with again. And there are some that I have collaborated with that I'll never be allowed to collaborate with again because they won't want to go near me because of the fact that I've talked about, hey, censorship is bad. And it's like, oh, apparently that's a right-leaning thing. It's like instantly you've got all these different moving cogwheels and it's just an absolute cesspit. I feel like I'm going off tandem a little bit, but you get where I'm going from.
But the algo is designed that way. It rewards you for being fake, lame, and gay. You want some...
This is why I like listening to that, because it reminds me of what tandem I'm on. But yeah, it's that whole thing of like the algorithm, the system, you chasing it, and it's just like you started as a passion, but you're also doing it for a bit of profitability, and it's a bit of balance, but then one takes over. And that's one thing I don't ever want to happen when I do content creation. I don't want one to take over the other. I want to have that passion still there. And that's why I have the analysis channel, to kind of keep that passion going of talking about things when I want to talk about it, but not force myself to talk about topics that I'm not as invested in. And then doing reaction videos on certain things like this where I think they're important and interesting to discuss about and seeing other perspectives. But it's like, you know, some of these anti-tubers, they started with good intentions and then it all became a business. And that's what I think the problem is with Joey, Giga, and Connor, is that they maybe had a passion for something, but because it's become such a business now, they've become too sanitized and too soulless to really show genuine love for things without being like, oh, how's this going to look for my wider audience and collaborations and sponsors? Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you'd get an honest answer from them about it either.
I want to talk about anime figures with passion. It's my boy Zucco.
God craves punishment, an Anubis-styled figure. Love the headpiece, love the ears. Outfit's non-existent, has the golden thong though. And join a peach. Must be very tasty. You have my attention.
This dude is underrated.
That's a good figure. So I'm a spider, so what?
Evident passion for Japanese figure collection and anime is infectious and shines through every video he creates. I don't even collect these things, but seeing this guy passionate about a hobby, though different from my...
I cannot wait to start doing my unboxings. I've still got them all in the cupboard. As soon as I start getting the glass cabinet set up and everything, oh, I'm going to have so much fun unboxing these. But my camera's not as good quality, so it's like maybe I need to get one, but it's like, do I get one just for the videos? And it's like, I am broke. And then you say, well, why'd you buy the anime? I got priorities, man. Do I get new camera so that I can take videos of figures, or do I just get more figures? Priorities, choices.
My own is great because I can relate on some level, rather than some rich jackasses pretending like this shit makes you a for even looking at it.
No, what the fuck? Who the fuck is that?
I've always said I don't think Connor generally has any interest in anime. He's just kind of there because he's like in Japan and he's famous. That's it. He's just like the guy that's like, oh yeah, I'm famous, I know people. I have heard from sources that the only reason why he kind of gets invited to a lot of these things is because he knows people, so he kind of like forces himself into things because of his connections. I've only heard that from inside sources, and I'm never going to tell anyone where I heard them from because I don't want them to get into trouble. But I have heard that. Whether that's true or not, take it with a grain of salt. But maybe it adds some links to things, but again, you're never going to get an honest answer there.
Keep doing you, Zucco, you magnificent bastard. Anyway, I gotta go change the oil on my motorcycle, so let's speed this up. I want to go outside where everybody's semi-normal. On Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, some new dumb shit was making the rounds. The anime men. They are popular for shorts and TikToks, where people with the attention span of fleas thrive.
That's an insult to fleas. You should take that back. I feel highly offended that you insult fleas. They have the attention span of a teaspoon. That's my favorite saying.
Was hoodweeb to the 9th power.
I'm sorry. I ever complain about neckbeards. I take them over these soulless husks any day.
Yeah. It was the most soulless video. There was no passion, there was no joy. I saw a video from Kiao Kiao, and the way he said it was actually really well articulated, that he was like, the reason why it's like this is because they produce content. It's all about the grind, and there's no passion in it. So like, oh, we need to get a video out. This is the idea. Let's do it. We need to get it done in a day. Boom, 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 boom. Because you can sit there and go, oh, but they don't upload that often. Yeah, but they do shorts videos, other social media platforms, sponsorships, stuff like that. Like, it's like, it's a grind. And that's what happens when it becomes more of a job than a passion. The soul goes out the window. It's why I never want to go down that path. I want to try and like have the profitability there enough that I can survive off of it, and that's it. I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to be like, oh, I need more. I need like if I take a sponsorship, it's like you've either got to put up with my shenanigans or there's the higher road. And I've been lucky with one sponsorship. I get a lot of shady ones, but it's just that I don't want to ever lose my passion for anime. And there's definitely moments where I've started to lose my passion, not because of the it's more of like all the like the censorship and all that kind of stuff. But it's one of those where I had to take a step back and just go, okay, take a deep breath and just remember why you love anime.
Bro, I hear you.
Guys, I'm sorry. No.
And I would rather quit YouTube than lose my passion for anime. Like, I will choose anime over the channel any day of the week.
No. Guys, it only gets worse. It only gets worse every single time. I don't know what I'm watching. I'm getting scared. Look at this. It's about like this high school girl, bro. She gets charmed up by this like dude. This dude definitely is older, bro.
This dude literally looks like he's 35 with 4 kids.
Yeah, dude. This.
By the way, might I add, in those times, a lot of younger men looked older, right? Nowadays, I've noticed that a lot of older people do look somewhat younger. And before you say, yes, I am older than I look.
Dude just started high school, bro. No.
Look, that's me and Kate right there. All the huzz are looking for us. Look at this.
They're just very pretty guys, but they're
very
girls.
pretty guys.
So I just don't understand what the concept was, and
I've got to watch, dear brother.
Like, I love the way they were starting to talk and then they're just like, lost my brain cells. It's just like, there's no attention span left in them.
Underestimate.
Alright, after watching that, there was this episode of Invader Zim, it reminds me of, called Plague Babies. It was like I was being hit with the deadly waves of stupidness. Remember what I said about 2020 being a bad year? That was when normies like these guys figured out anime existed and they decided to watch. Thanks a lot, China.
Finally, Death Note is so peak. I was saying with him, Death Note, I used to hate anime my whole entire life. Until 2020, the first actual anime episode I ever watched was the first episode of Death Note. It was so good. Absolute masterclass, masterpiece. 3, 2, 1. S tier!
What the f*** is gay shit?
Wild, my guy. I can't take this timeline. Anyway, they put out a tier list of the most retarded takes on the planet when it comes to anime. If you can't even pick decent anime and put them on a tiers list, you shouldn't be in.
As I've said before, comparing old animes to new animes, especially with the time lapse that there is the stupidest tier list. This just felt like pure rage bait, but I don't think they were self-aware to know that this was the stupidest idea ever. I think they just kind of went, what works, throw it at a board, yep, let's do it. I think they are that soulless and care that little about the content that they will just produce anything that will trend without caring about the anime community or what the content is. It's just, that's all it is. It's just about what clicks, what trends, what works. Because you really had to be really dense to not realize how stupid this tier list was. Like, if you wanted to compare, like, the last 5 years of isekais, sure. Romance is sure. Even last 10 years. But going back, like, 20, 30 or so years, you're really just pushing things. Like, especially when technology and style and culture was very different back then, and being so self-aware and unknowledgeable to that is just like ridiculous.
Charge of even wiping your own ass, bro. Let's see, Berserk being S tier, I'll admit that's base. But if they read the manga, I guarantee you these guys would trash it and say it was problematic. Attack on Titan, S tier? No. Maybe A at best or B. You can get mad at me if you want. Jujutsu Kaisen, kinda based. You know,
Tokyo Ghoul shouldn't be up there, but again, you gotta remember they only watched the first episode, so it's like...
To be C tier is retarded. Evangelion at C tier. Bro, tell me you know nothing about mecha anime without
But again, you gotta remember, they only watched the first episode.
Telling me you know...
And at 2 to 3 to 1.5, depending on which ones. I've heard different results.
Nothing. Detective Conan in C tier. One Punch Man. But Death Note is S tier for you? Bro, you guys are animal. Yo, wait. Cowboy Bebop is an S tier. Am I looking at this right? I want to headbutt this dude in the face. Cowboy Bebop is an S tier, but Death Note is. Okay. Wait, what? Solo Leveling is above Dragon Ball.
Dick off! Dick off into a salad spinner and eat yourself bottom first, you feeble Disney remake.
Gurren Lagann is over Gundam and Evangelion.
You get the hell out!
What's wrong with you? I'm not watching this video because I will crash out for an hour straight.
Don't get mad at me. I love Evangelion. That first episode is not that strong.
I only have one thing to say about Evangelion.
Also, I did find out that they changed the title, because I remember when I first saw it and I watched parts of it, they didn't have in the title that they were only watching the first episode, which was why I got annoyed, because I was like, wait, you didn't even watch these shows properly. It's like felt like very like clickbaity, and then they ended up adding that into the title later. So I was like, oh, so they're even more like they deliberately rage baited and then had to quick bait and switch, and then they promoted it on all their social media platforms and then deleted it all. And yeah, they very much know people are cooking them. They absolutely know, because their comment sections is full of it, and they're even hiding some of it. So they are fully self-aware that they are getting cooked. I think they're just hoping that it just rolls over. But I've also seen videos from like a while, like a year or so ago, that I checked and I looked in the comments, like, I wonder if there are people cooking them in the comments. And there are. They're getting cooked in every single video that gets a comment. Like, people are just going through systematically cooking them. So yeah.
Yelling, and that's Misato. I can't lie, the best part about the episode is holy gyat, bro. Is her name Misato? She's so bad, bro. The rest of the episode feels too much of a blur and doesn't really set up anything until the end, and it doesn't really get anything done. Without Misato, this would be lower, but it is going in the C tier.
I've never been that guy, but we probably should have gate kept harder.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, we should have. And it's funny because I've been getting attacked so much by people like, gatekeeping is very toxic and bad. I don't give a damn. When we have to put up with stuff like this, we're gatekeeping harder. I'm going through my cooking phase. I'm going to start cooking people. If you want to know how much I'm going to start trolling people, just check my bio description on my X account. Yeah, I'm going full cook mode. I'm just cooking people now.
People should have listened to me when I talked about gatekeeping. You keep these people out. Haven't you seen what's happening in England? Anime is being treated like England, dog. We're just letting in these anime migrants. People, they have like 4 million subscribers. What is with this generation? Straight up, it seems like they are in love with getting their opinions and takes from dirty looking white dudes that look like they've never washed themselves. I will not take an opinion from a disheveled, greasy-looking on anything. And if you do, that's a fie on you, as Judy Garland would say. Dude, I'm ready to stop this video. No more. I see why they got hate on Twitter. They get what they deserve. They have no respect or idea of the meaning of these older classics that paved the way.
It's like I said in another video or somewhere, that it's like comparing like VCH tapes and comparing like Blu-rays or something, or like cassette tapes and stuff, or like the old school record players, and complaining about record players compared to like Blu-ray players and go, oh my god, this is so stupid. Like, it's like you don't realize the path that it has to take for the technology and everything to get there. Like, these classics are what allows the current anime generation to stand. Like, these are giants that allow others to stand on. These are true classics that have allowed the industry to grow and build and become better. And you need to understand that and at least appreciate the importance of them. You don't have to like them, but understand and appreciate the importance of them. Because it's like going to Japan, right? Or it's like even going to like, and I don't want to use Japan as an example, I still will, but it's like going to Japan and going to like a castle, right? Or a really like important building and going, oh, this just looks so old fashioned. But it's like, you got to understand the importance of the history and where we've come from and how we've built. I say where we have, but I'm not Japanese, but the importance of history in general, like where we've come from. It's just, it is so tone deaf.
For the shit we have now. Goku walked so Solo Leveling could run, you filthy bitch.
This straight up might be the single worst anti-tuber video of all time. One of the biggest proofs that 99% of gimmick pages and skit creators are just trend riding parasites.
I agree. I also think that applies to a lot of... I think it just applies to a lot of content creators in general. I think a lot of reaction channels, I think a lot of like cosplay OnlyFans accounts, I think a lot of VTubers, I think a lot of AniTubers. I just think a lot of content creators in general are just grifting and just riding on trends. And I see it so often as someone that consumes content as well as produces content. And that's what frustrates me. I don't care if someone is a larger content creator than me, because I've seen people say, oh, you're just jealous because they're bigger. No, I'm not jealous that they're bigger than me. I'm irritated that the people that are in that position of power and size and fame are people that should not be up there and do not deserve it. Put someone there that is actually a genuine fan. I don't care who, but at least put someone there that is genuine. Otherwise, no, I'm not interested.
They place DBZ below solo leveling. We've been calling out this exact tourism for the past few years, but we're dismissed as gooners. Now the space is invaded by people who call classics unwatchable because they can only watch modern flashy slop like mid-leveling.
Yep, that's what happens. People come in to your hobby and they ruin it every single time.
No way he says that about Astro Boy. He needs to delete his account effective immediately. F tier, really? That's unforgivable. They don't know good anime shows if they bit them in the half end. Just because it's old, sure, preference aside, but it's not F tier. I resent that.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
In this world, you must pick a side. The anime man or the anime men.
Then I choose myself.
I pick neither side. I pick me.
The anime space clearly needs my hateful ass at the door trying to keep people out. And if you're bothered by this, remember, I'd be one of the men that would hold the gate, not open it up and say, come on in and stab a white bitch.
Yeah. I think it's only going to get worse, and I think a lot of it is the fact that, again, the internet has become a place where you can make so much money. And I don't think making money is inherently a bad thing on content creation. And I know people might say just because I'm a content creator I say that, but I just feel like it's one of those where I'm just like... I just feel like it's more about the money than it is about the passion. And that's why people need to support channels that actually genuinely care about anime. But I've seen a big wave by a bunch of like political activists going, you should promote these channels more. And it's just channels constantly forcing in politics, being like, Free Reign is political, Apothecary Diary is political. It's like always these kinds of videos just kind of ham-fisting this kind of rubbish in. So, yeah, it's sadly not going to end. It's a good video. It's more comedic than it is insightful because a lot of the stuff we kind of already know, but it's a good video nonetheless. Like it. Definitely. I'll leave it linked in the description of the video. Again, if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.